which is called the circular economy. But we would argue that that circular economy, in terms of the green industry, should not include incineration. Incineration is not green, and the damage that is causing is get consequences far down the line. So we are looking for those governments across the UK, not just in Scotland, because we're part of a wider movement now, to say that, look, we need a moratorium here. We need to establish what are the facts now than when we last kind of reviewed it, because things are changing significantly, and none more or less than in climate change.
Yeah, and that point about the circular economy is really worth hammering in here. The circular economy is something that we've talked about on the previous episodes of the Policy Podcast. Just for listeners who might not have heard those episodes, we see things like even recycling as a symptom of failure in a way. What we want to get to is an ideal where resources that are brought into the economy are as much as possible reused and repaired and kept going round in circles for as long as possible. But when they finally do break down to the point where something can't be repaired anymore, then as much as possible of that, those materials really should be compostable. We shouldn't be sending things to landfill. We shouldn't be sending things to incinerators, and only those things that are, returned to the soil should be allowed to leave the circular economy. Everything else should be reused, repaired, remanufactured, and then sort of recycled. You're right. Nothing should be going to landfill, and nothing should be going to incinerators. That's not a circular economy. That's the end of the cycle.
Yeah, it needs a fundamental change in a review to address this, because my concern is that within the industry, it's producing packaging, etc., that they're saying the right things quite often, but they're not necessarily doing the right things. And unless that changes dramatically soon, we need to influence government to ensure that brings in legislation to make these things happen, and that there are small signs that is happening now, even as recently as in terms of incineration. Only I think it's 3 weeks ago now, Wales, Welsh Assembly announced a moratorium on large-scale incinerators in Wales, with the proposed introduction of an incineration tax as a disincentive to actually send stuff to incineration in the first place. But it's a sea change that's needed here, and we need to be part of that change to influence our governments to go down that route. But I think there's a feeling that I think we can see that in some of the politics we have today, and in a lot of the media that we see today, that there's a willingness to do it. But at the end of the day, we need action to implement this.